How fast is he going?
What's up, y'all? So we received what might be the best moped style e-bike that's around $900. I say that because although it's around $900 or less, it has a 1,000 watt motor. 1,500 watt peak, advertised to go up to 28 miles per hour, but we're gonna test that out. It has a 48 volt, 16 amp hour battery, advertised to go up to 60 miles of charge. 16 amp hours seem kind of small though, so we're gonna test out the range too. This bike weighs 99 pounds, maximum weight of the rider is 350 pounds.
99 pounds?
That's what it said, 99, not 100.
100.
1999. This bike does have a cadence sensor. I like torque sensors better, but hopefully they give you the ability to change your pedal assist sensitivity. I guess we'll see. So the name of this bike is the ANDSKY T8 Core. To purchase this e-bike, feel free to use my link and my code in the description below to get a discount. Also, I am doing an e-bike giveaway. If you want to be included in this giveaway, you have to be subscribed to the channel and comment below on what type of e-bike you would like. So what we're going to do is we're going to unbox this, put this bike together, go through all the features and see is this the best moped style e-bike that we reviewed that's around $1,000. And to help me unbox this, I have my brother and fellow e-bike connoisseur Tyler with me, who actually likes moped style e-bikes. Reviewing an e-bike is creative?
I'm saying like all the.
So this is what the bike looks like fresh out the box. I think it was wrapped pretty well. There was a lot of foam around the body of the bike. So this is what the bike looks like without the wrapping. I doubt if anything was damaged just because of the amount of foam that was around the bike, but I guess we'll see. So looks like we're going to have to put our handlebar on, which is already attached via wires. We're going to have to put our display on, which is also attached via wires. We're going to have to put our 20 by 4 all-terrain wheel on. Not sure the brand of the tire here. I can't find the brand name on it, but the tire does seem pretty grippy, but not sure about the durability. This bike also came with a box, so let's see what's in the box. We have an owner's manual. Let's look into that. Instructions seem a little light. I ain't gonna lie, but hopefully it's enough instructions for us to put this bike together. I'm not seeing anything about the advanced settings, but here's a look at the warranty here. Pretty sure this is our bike charger. Charge our 16 amp hour battery. Our pedals, which are labeled, I believe. They are labeled with an engravement at the bottom of the pedals. Standard hexagon wrench that we probably will never use. Wrench, instead of nuts and bolts and stuff. And I believe these are footrests. I doubt if we'll have room to ride with a passenger. First thing we're gonna do is go ahead and get this front wheel on. The alignment was already pretty solid, but if you did want to change the alignment, then you would take this rubber thing off here. There's a screw here that you would tighten up, and you would make sure to tighten up your screws here on both sides of this handlebar. we got this bike put together, only took us about 30 minutes. This is pretty short for a moped style e-bike. It's only about 5 feet 3 inches long from wheel to wheel. The seat, which is not adjustable, is about 2 feet 8 inches from the floor. The handlebar, which is kind of adjustable, you can adjust the angle. Where we have it at now is like 3 feet 8 inches from the floor. I think although this bike is short, it is pretty standard looking for a moped style e-bike. Let me know what y'all think of how this e-bike looks. I do like the brown seat though, and it is a bit firm for my liking, but we'll see. The size of the seat is pretty standard too. It's about 1 feet 7 inches long here. It's about 6 feet wide. Look at that suspension. And I prefer coil suspensions over like more of your air suspensions because I think the rebound is usually better. Give y'all an idea of this rear suspension. We also have like a motorcycle style front fork suspension, but it's not adjustable. Give y'all a look at this front suspension. Get a look at our rear and front 160 millimeter mechanical. That's why you see the wire here. Mechanical brakes. Now I like hydraulic brakes better, but we'll see. We do have a pretty standard battery, which is removable, so you can take the keys that come on the front of this bike here and put them in here to take this battery out. In order to turn your bike on, you do have to hit a switch on this battery. If I try to turn the bike on, it still will not turn on because this bike has an alarm system. So to turn this bike on, it did come with 2 of these key fobs. So to turn the bike on, after I hit that on switch on the handlebar, I'll click on the middle button on this fob, and that turns my very basic but colorful display on. So I hit the unlock button to turn the bike off. Now at this point, if I was to hit the lock button, that should turn on my alarm. Try to move the bike to see if it makes any noise here. Nope, nothing. See if I move it forward. All right, I'm not hearing nothing. Okay. Oh, there it goes. Okay, I guess it's a little delayed, I guess. Now we do have look like 3 different pedal assist modes, and for the first time ever, there's a switch that I use on the handlebar to change from mode 1 to mode 2. I'm clicking this switch here to mode 3. So that's new. That seems a bit old school, but let me know what y'all think. This panel on the other side of our handlebar looks like if I click that button, that turns my beefy headlight on and my rear light on. And that rear light is also a brake light. Now if I click this button, that turns my turning signal on in the back, my turning signal on in the back and in the front. And I think together they are pretty noticeable. And it looks like we also have a horn. Oh, that's pretty loud. We have your standard Shimano 7 gear shifter. We have like more hard rubbery handlebar grips. And this entire grip is your throttle on the right side of your handlebar. So all of this turns, and then that makes me go on electric only. I usually like the half twist throttle because if you're using this bike and you're pedaling, you know, your hand may move a bit like this. Or if you first get on the bike, you know, your hand might move this a little bit. I would just hate for you all to engage the throttle by accident. Looks like this calculates your speed in miles per hour. Not sure if you can change that to kilometers. I'm not seeing where you can change your advanced settings. Your trip mileage, which I think resets every time you turn your bike on. Your battery life over here. When you first turn the bike on, you see your odometer here. But once you start pedaling or you use your throttle, that turns into your trip mileage. That's not the bike you do no hands with. Alright? Alright, you playing a little too much, man. I know the bike comfortable, it ain't that damn comfortable. Bruh. You tripping. You tripping.
First warning, don't ever take your hands off the handlebar. Don't ever do it.
Nah, you was tripping, man.
It ain't gonna work, okay? I like this thing right here, man. You know what? Here's the thing. When I first got on here, I thought the seat would be terrible. But it's got like a little, I don't know how to explain. It's like a little hump, right? Not a hump, but like
it slopes
down. So that helps right there. Yeah, it's a little more comfortable than I thought. It's weird the gears. I never seen this before. It's got 1, 2, 3 instead of, you know how you do it, 1 to 5. But I think the suspension is good. I think the suspension is good.
Okay.
It is moped. It's moped. And with moped, you know the problem with the moped.
What?
If you got a little height on you. I think I could have gotten taller since I started doing these bikes.
So you're saying this bike is too short for you?
Yeah, it's like you getting your knees up there, man.
And how tall are you?
You getting your knees up there, man. You know, I'm 5'11".
You're not 5'11".
I'm like 5'10", man. 5'10" on a good day, 5'9" on normal days.
And you saying that your knees come up too high?
Yeah.
What you giving this bike on a scale from 1 to 10?
I give it an 8.
An 8. All right. What'd you think of that suspension?
I like this one.
A lot better?
Yeah, way better.
So, ANDSKY T8 Core, what are your thoughts?
I think it's a pretty good sturdy bike. Kept me comfortable riding through the gravel. I was able to feel the suspension on the gravel. It was very sturdy. I didn't feel like I was going to fall off. The only downfall I didn't really like was the handlebars.
The handlebar?
Yeah.
It took us a while to tighten the handlebars up, right?
Yeah. I feel like the suspension is very sturdy.
Okay.
Like I said, on the gravel, even on the grass, going on the road, it was all smooth sailing.
Okay.
And going up the hill.
Okay.
The turns are good, very balanced on the turns.
Okay.
Even going fast, maneuvering around.
Okay.
Good.
So what would you give this bike on a scale from 1 to 10?
I'm gonna give it 8 out of 10.
An 8 out of 10?
Just because of maybe if we find a more sturdier
Handlebar, the angle of the handlebar.
Yeah.
And did you have a hard time getting on and off the bike?
No, not at all.
Okay, but what's your height though?
I'm 5'7".
5'7"? So I definitely think these tires are grippy enough to lean into your turns. And with it being a moped style e-bike that's kind of low to the floor with a nice wide handlebar, you can lean in these kind of e-bikes more than most. Leaning kind of comes effortlessly on e-bikes with these kind of dimensions, you know what I mean? I like leaning because I feel like I give you more control of your turn, but lean at your own leisure. So we're not gonna go off-road with some hills. Test out these tires, but mainly test out the suspension. Go up here. Suspension is not bad. Definitely not the best suspension I've had, but not bad, especially for the price. Let's keep going. Okay, let's go up here. Boy, that suspension in the back of the bike, man, it's great. The suspension in the back is definitely making up for some of the suspension in the front, which is also not bad. For the price, this might be the best suspension I've had on. Nah, I'll take that back. I can only think of one other e-bike that's around this price, maybe a little bit more expensive, with a better suspension. But for the price, the suspension is pretty good. Like, I don't feel a whole lot of shaking here. No, I don't know if the camera's doing it justice, but don't feel a whole lot of shaking. Feel very smooth. It's absorbing a lot of the bumps. Not bad. Let's go down here. All right, let's see. Not bad. All right, so I'll say on a scale of 1 to 10, that's about an 8.5. So in mode 1, pedal assist, I think it gives you the perfect amount. It is unfortunate you can't change your pedal assist sensitivity, but mode 1, I think it gives you the perfect amount. Look like it takes me up to 11 miles per hour. Let's go to mode 2. In mode 2, let's see. Pedal assist is pretty gradual, but it wasn't super delayed. And it also pretty perfect. Pedal assisted mode, well, hold on. All right, it might be a little, maybe just a little too much pedal assisted mode too, but that's because this is a speed sensor. So a speed sensor does not take into account how hard you're pedaling. It's just trying to get you to that max speed. Mode 2 looks like the max speed is, let's see, like 20, 21, okay, about 21 miles per hour, about 20 miles per hour in mode 2. The brakes are a little delayed, but that's what you get with mechanical brakes. It's just that little delay there because it's pulling on a string, right? Now I'm 5'11", 6 feet with shoes on. This bike is a little too short for me. I say I would have to get way in the back of I'm way towards the back of the seat. My knees are still coming up a bit higher than I would like. I can do this though, because I can go so far back on the seat, but I have to really go far to the back to make this comfortable for me to pedal, you know what I mean? If I was here normally, my knees are coming up way too high, you see what I'm saying? Now I will say, I'm not sure what's going on with the handlebar, but even when you tighten the screws, like the handlebar might shift on you, you know what I mean? So I think you might need some like handlebar paste or something to put here to make sure that that doesn't happen, because we had to screw them back in really tightly several times. So I don't know if something about the metal on metal here makes it shift a little bit. I also want to mention that this bike is pretty comfortable, pretty stable too. I don't have to like widen my knees and stuff when I pedal, because even though this is a moped style e-bike, it has a pretty narrow body frame, so I can really pedal how I would normally pedal, you know what I mean? Some moped style e-bikes, you have to pedal like this because the body is so wide. Now, this is not so smooth where I feel like I can ride without my hand on it, maybe a little bit. Oh, not so smooth where I feel like I can ride without my hand on the handlebar, but smooth enough. So we're not gonna go max speed pedal assist, and I do want to mention that this here is only on here to measure my distance, because the speed calculator is not working on that. So, all right, I'm up to 20, 21. Again, this is the speed sensor, so I might not be able to keep up with the, you see I'm ghost pedaling, but it's not super bad though. So 28, I can keep up with the motor even though it's a speed sensor. 30, 31. All right, look like 31 miles per hour. It is a speed sensor, but it's not so much pedal assist where I feel like I can't keep up with the motor. So we're not gonna max speed, oh shoot. Max speed throttle only. Almost forgot to put up my kickstand there. That would have been real bad. But all right, 25, 26, 27, 28. Not sure if y'all can see my display. It's off for me to see 29, 30. 31. All right. So 31 miles per hour, max speed, throttle only. That's pretty good, especially considering the price. Now, while I'm in the street, I will say, I think this is a great bike for the streets because you have a semi-heavy battery. The bike is not that heavy, but it's heavy enough for it to be sturdy in the street. You have a pretty comfortable seat. It's hard, but it's wide, so I don't feel uncomfortable on it so far. And because you have all the bells and whistles I think you would need for the street. You got turn signals, headlight, rear light, brake light, a horn. I also think this would be a great bike for, stop here. I also think this would be a great bike for more urban areas. I think that's probably where this bike thrives the most because it's so compact. Like it's 5 feet 3 inches from wheel to wheel. That's pretty small, right? And even though it does have a motorcycle style front fork, I feel like I can still cut through some pretty tight corners. I'm gonna try to go here. Yeah. And because you can lean so effortlessly, you can really avoid people and things, I feel like, on this bike pretty well, which is what you kind of get in the urban area, right? You kind of you might have to fit through some tight corners, some narrow walkways, might have to make a turn to go through some alleyways, stuff like that. Avoid people, avoid cars. So yeah, definitely think this is a great bike for an urban area. So we're not gonna go max speed, throttle only, up a hill. It's a pretty steep hill, about 35-degree hill, maybe 40. Hill also has a turn. We're gonna see how much speed we lose going up this hill. Going into the hill, I'm at what? 28 miles per hour going into the hill now. All right. Still at 28. Whoa. 23, 22, 21, 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15. All right, so we lost about 13 miles per hour. We usually lose around 10. So ANDSKY T8, I think this is a really decent moped style e-bike for the price. This is one of the cheapest e-bikes that I reviewed on my channel. The biggest surprise of this e-bike is the battery life. Like, I went on a 16-mile bike ride. I was really hoping to lose one battery bar, so I was really pushing it. So in that 16 miles, I went 8 miles max speed pedal assist. I went 1 mile max speed throttle only. And then I was in mode 2 the rest of the time, pedal assist, and I could not lose the battery bar. That's pretty good for the price. I also like the speed. I was able to get up to 30 miles per hour pretty easily. The suspension is decent, especially the spring suspension in the back. I do wish you could adjust the suspension in the front, but you know, the price, right? I love all the bells and whistles, turning signals, headlight, rear light, brake light. I do wish that you had some type of settings that you could adjust on your display. The seat is hard. It is wide, but why are you laughing? Why are you laughing?
The seat is hard.
I'll say after like 12 miles, I felt a little discomfort. So now I'm 5'11", 6 feet with shoes on. This bike was a little too short for me, but it still was a pretty comfortable ride. And I do think you would have to put some type of handlebar paste on the handlebar here, because we kept having to tighten this up. For the price, on a scale from 1 to 10, I'm going to give this bike an 8.5. Comment below on what you would give this bike on a scale from 1 to 10, considering the price. Any other e-bike you want me to review, also comment below. Thank y'all for watching. Peace.